Hi, this is Tom Vizziani. Way back in the olden days of persuasion, the olden days of life skills, the olden days of personal change and development, they had a method of getting rapport that they called matching and mirroring. And the concept was really simple. If you had person A, and they were standing there and they had their arms crossed, and you walked up to them and crossed your arms, you would become one happy family. I've never heard a more idiotic idea in my entire life. And it didn't work. And let me tell you why I know it didn't work. Because I've read a ton of books. I've been to a lot of trainings and seminars. I've been doing this and teaching it for 13 years. And even most people's training manuals only give the concept of rapport a couple of pages. I've read giant sales books that only give the concept of rapport a couple of pages. I've read whole courses on persuasion and influence that only gave the idea of rapport a brief mention. Why'd they do that? Because that didn't work. So instead, they used what I call innocent bystander, the big club method of persuasion. Smack people in the head until they did what you wanted them to do. Now, the big club ended up being a variety of techniques. It might be linguistic gymnastics of trying to get someone to change the way they think the way you change what you say. It might be by trying to hypnotize them to do what you want. It might be anchoring, like I described in the last video, where that if you'd anchor somebody, and if you did it enough, and you did it hard enough, and banged them on the head enough, suddenly they would like you and do anything you wanted them to do. Okay? The problem with that is, it's stupid. Now, I keep saying that, and for those few of you out there that are very sensitive and offended, just turn this video off now. I frankly don't want you around, because you have to recognize when things aren't working. So, what does work? Well, the idea is this. If you're outside of your own head, and you're noticing the person you're talking to, and you're noticing their attitude, you're noticing their attention, you're noticing their focus, you're noticing how they dress and all this stuff, it gives you a ton of information. And by using this information, you can decide how you're going to approach them. Now, I'm going to give you one simple concept. And I guarantee you, this concept is not taught anywhere by anybody. Or at least it wasn't when we first started teaching it 4 or 5 years ago. As with most things, when you do something really well, you're going to end up with imitators. And we certainly have. And that's okay. But the problem is, none of them teach it correctly. There's only one place to get this right, and it's with us. Yes, I know how arrogant that sounds, but the truth is the truth. Anyway, so one concept. A lot of people need you to lead them, and you have to know when those people need a leader. Some people need to be talked to as if they're your friend, and they make that kind of connection with someone. Other people need to lead you and like to feel like they're in charge. If you can identify what role they need to have themselves, you can identify what role you need to fulfill in order to have maximum influence. So, how does this translate? Well, we have several levels that we talk about: leader, follower, equal, subordinate. Okay? Those are just 4 of the basics, and we teach a ton more, and we're going to be getting into that at the Total Life Transformation Seminar. But if I understand that I can connect with you as an equal, all right, and there you are, minding your own business, thinking that there's no way that I can influence you, you're going to be in for a surprise. But, so if you connect with somebody on an equal basis, and you connect with them equally, and they begin to open up, and they trust you, they may be curious, they may even feel some kind of connection, who knows, but it's there. But if I want to make a statement, if I want you to do something, I want to have a little bit of dominance to it. Alright, so what I want to do is, I can start with, I was wondering if you can help me out. Alright, I was wondering if equal, dominant, subordinate for a second, if you can, and then back to equal. And it comes off like this. I was wondering if you can help me out. If you can, I'd appreciate it. Okay? Seems very, very basic and very simple. Let me speed it up to real world speed. Because I use this all the time. I was wondering if you can help me out if you have a moment. Okay? So, equal, I was wondering if you can help me out. If you can. Or if you have a moment. Equal, that would be great. Alright? That one little concept is one of the jewels that we'll be teaching you at the Total Life Transformation Seminar. Now, why is this important? You need to understand how you can shift and use language and use anchoring to get your outcome. Listen, and this is really, really important. This is all wonderful, and if it fits your personality, great. But if it doesn't, then we change it to fit someone else's personality. Alright? Sometimes people don't feel very comfortable being very dominant. So you have to change the formula. Someone who doesn't have has a normally subordinate personality, okay, isn't going to start off at equal. They're going to start off at subordinate. They're still going to build that connection, but they're going to make that connection different. Let me give you an example. So, there I am out at a restaurant with a friend of mine, and we're waiting for dinner, we're on the list. I go to the bar, I want to get something to drink. I look down to the left of me, and I see this woman just got served a plate of seared ahi. I love seared ahi. It's very good. Okay? So, I look at her, I observe about her, what kind of person I believe she is, what position I think she holds most of the time. I see what she's wearing, I see how she's talking, I notice her interacting with other people, and I decide this. I drop to a subordinate little boy. And just as she looks up, I get her attention and go, wow, that looks good. Okay, little boy. And she goes, oh yeah, it really is. And I said, you had it here before? Because I'm telling you, I might have to get some of that. Little boy. What's the result? She looks up at me. She goes, would you like to taste some? Never met this woman before in my life. Total stranger. Not only that, she starts cutting it up and feeding it to me with her fork. Not only that, I had to stop her. Okay? I had to stop her from doing it. She was going to end up giving me the whole thing. Now, a friend of mine was sitting across the bar, completely stunned. Walks over and says, did you know that lady? Do you know who that is? I'm like, no. It's just somebody who happened to be at the bar. This is the way I do it with my personality. Your personality is going to be your guide. The key is this. This is an incredibly powerful tool that you have to have in your toolbox, and it has to fit with your personality. Okay? That's what transforming your life is about. Now, would mirroring her have worked? No. Okay? Maybe I could have, hypnotized her. I could have looked at her and said, if you now feel generous with your seared ahi, you would like to give me some now, wouldn't you? And I would have probably been kicked out of the bar because that's just creepy languaging. Alright? So the point I want to make with this is there's a lot of crappy methods out there of doing things. There's a lot of things that don't work. And our goal is to teach things that do, and we've been doing it for 13 years now. All I have to ask you is this. What if you could instantaneously connect with people and have influence over them? How would that change your life? What if there's just one person that you haven't been able to talk to or get through to, and you suddenly were able to build that connection with them? How would that change your life? How would it improve the relationships you already have if you understood how to shift the position to what they needed to hear? Look, folks, it's just a couple of weeks before the Total Life Transformation Training starts. You can either come to Atlanta or you can watch it on the web. But either way, you need to get there now.